Always a work in progress. Yes, hello everyone and now welcome. Welcome to a game. This game gonna be between FoCuS and Happy, taking place here on Hammerfall. Just realizing that the that the chat that box that I just tried to put up, text is a little bit small. I could probably increase that, make it a little bit better, but let's focus on FoCuS. FoCuS spawning as the blue orc on the top left-hand side of the map here on Hammerfall, going up against Happy, who has spawned as the yellow undead. No big surprises in terms of heroes, and let's go ahead and get to that 2-minute mark of that game and of this game and see where it leads. We are getting that Altar of Darkness. There is that crypt. It is going to be a Death Knight. No surprises from Happy. Meanwhile, FoCuS looks like he's going for a very fast tech to tier 2. This opening, yep, there's that fast tech to tier 2. Acolyte is going to spot this fast tech to tier 2, and then know that the barracks and that war mill is being placed down. Farseer should be summoning up a pair of wolves sometime soon. Wants to be able to use those wolves, regenerate mana, and then use these early wolves and then resummon them as they are going to get pressured. The Death Knight, because he saw his opponent FoCuS going for that very fast tech to tier 2, knows that harassment is most likely on its way. Alright, a lot of damage. Who's going to get the last hit? Farseer trying to get the last hit. Is he going to get the last hit? And I believe so, as the Acolyte is taking a lot of damage. There's that last hit there. There's another little bit of damage. Farseer picks up Claws of Attack +5. Claws of Attack +5, obviously a very powerful item early on in the game for any ranged-based hero, right? If you wondered why, how come Claws of Attacks were adjusted, it's because of how they scale. Look at the Farseer here. As a tier 1 item, suddenly he's doing 25% more damage. As opposed to the Death Knight here, an additional +5, even though it is static, he's only doing I think about an additional +20% damage, or a little bit less there. We are looking at the Farseer trying to get some damage onto those ghouls. Death Knight, however, most likely going to be able to easily come by. There's a Death Coil to ensure the kill there, as we're looking at more damage going down onto ghouls. However, the Death Knight does have Death Coil, should be able to get off a Death Coil onto that ghoul if necessary, but that ghoul back on Blight and gonna be able to, well, just keep away. Now, FoCuS's tech to tier 2 is nearly done. We are getting up some of these headhunters. Remember that barracks was placed down after the tech to tier 2. So we need to find a time when, well, that tier 2 advantage is going to be strong. Are we going to see a tavern hero? That could be a potential possibility, as we see some poison damage go across the board. All right, poison damage, very scary across all of these lower hit point units. Meanwhile, headhunters getting absolutely poked now. Hello, Australia. Thank you for tuning in. What, good evening or good afternoon? I think it's good afternoon. Or is it? No, it's good morning. No. No, it's my good morning. Oh my gosh. Can't do time changes in my head. It's like, what? Flip it. 12? Yeah, it's good evening. It's good evening. Death Knight, gonna go ahead, get that Death Coil, finish off that one giant sea turtle there. Farseer does have dual Claws of Attack +5 now, so every bit of damage, you can see how much damage that is doing, trying to finish things off. There's a Death Coil, and what a beautiful play by Happy. FoCuS saw that low hit point ghoul, saw that low hit point ghoul, and because he saw the low hit point ghoul and had those dual Claws of Attack +5, thought there was a window of opportunity to try and finish off that ghoul. The Death Knight, on the other hand, waited until that ghoul was sub 100 hit points, kind of baited it, and then finally finished it off. We do see the Shadow Hunter has joined in on the battle here. We're going to perhaps see a little bit of healing wave coming in from the Shadow Hunter, as the Forest Troll Warlord, there goes a couple of ensnares, a little bit of damage going across. There's that healing wave bouncing around, trying to keep those units alive. No healing salve as of yet, as the Forest Troll Warlord does get taken out. Meanwhile, Dark Ranger summoned up from a skeletal minion here in the center portion of the map, and the hero level, or the hero and the tech advantage is pretty much caught up now. We should be looking at some raiders and ensnare coming in off of those two bestiaries. Fast tech to tier 2. There's that healing wave bouncing around again. Wand of Mana Stealing could be huge for that Shadow Hunter, as that Shadow Hunter essentially has 230 mana right now, or sorry, excuse me, 220 mana right now. with the help of that Wand of Mana Stealing to try and keep some of those units alive. On top of that, it's also the ability to deny mana from your opponent that could work out well. Dark Ranger, however, has other words, silence being one of them, on trying to slow down any of those spells and abilities as well. Death Knight also with a Wand of Mana Stealing, so we may just see Wand of Mana Stealing getting used back and forth, and figuring out who can use it more effectively. That is going to be a key question as well. All right, Great Hall now getting established by FoCuS here at the 9 o'clock spot. We did see a Wind Rider head to the skies. We do not see the upgraded advanced reinforced burrows yet, and we see dual level 2 heroes going up against a level 3 and level 1. The tech to tier 3 already halfway done. We are getting up those obsidian statues, and Happy is just waiting for that power spike of that first obsidian statue, and perhaps adding in a Lich with an Orb of Corruption when the time comes. All right, timing is going to be key here. This one Raider just pretty much ran around every which way. We're going to see a Skeletal Minion completely get cleaned up here. 39 supply compared to 39. All right. Coming back through, Skeletal Minion has scouted out that 9 o'clock spot. Farseer trying to go after this creep camp here. Meanwhile, Undead also going after a relatively easy creep camp. Both sides going after orange creep camps now. Dark Ranger will most likely get to level 2. The question is going to be the Farseer and the Shadow Hunter. Will they also be getting to level 2 as well? Or level 3 as well? No, needing a little bit more experience. Farseer, even that Skeletal Minion, not enough. Coming back through, Skeletal Minion getting taken down. Farseer finally gets to level 3, does opt for level 2 Wolves. And meanwhile, the Death Knight and a Dark Ranger here now heading off to the north. Undead has not tried to set up an expansion as of yet. We see Kodo Beast, so Kodo Beast, Wind Riders, and Raiders, everything coming out of the Bestiary at this point, as the units are, well, perhaps they're going to get poked down there. There's a quick silence onto the Crypt Fiend. Crypt Fiend could end up taking a lot of damage. It does end up getting taken down, and the Death Knight did not even try to Death Coil there. Not quite sure what that was about. The Wind Riders are here as well. They're going to be able to focus down this pretty quick as FoCuS goes into low upkeep. So 57 supply compared to 42 right now. A very big army size difference, as the Lich, well, out onto the battlefield, gonna perhaps pick up an Orb of Corruption or get one delivered by that Death Knight. Skeletal Minion gonna go ahead and get cleaned up here. 45 supply compared to 57, as the Farseer, well, Farseer is still wandering around, does have those healing stabs. We do see an illusion off over here there. That is, well, just an illusion. That Orb of Corruption going to go ahead and try to attack. And the Death Knight holding onto the Orb of Corruption as a way of attacking and shooting up. All right, we're going to see a little bit of damage. Frost Nova, quick ensnare onto the Destroyer. The Destroyer about to get taken down. It does end up falling. There goes a Ghoul as well. Kodo Beast trying to make their way over. Perhaps they're going to get hungry, Kodo. Yes, they do. Chain Lightning now bouncing around alongside a Healing Wave. So, well, a Healing Wave bounce and a Chain Lightning bounce as Frost Novas go down. 34 supply compared to 53. FoCuS having a major advantage here as the Shadow Hunter uses Wand of Mana Stealing and is trying to, well, continue to heal up. There goes a quick Death Coil. And now death onto a Wind Rider there. Shadow Hunter currently silenced, unable to use very much. There's that Healing Wave bouncing around at the last possible moment as the Destroyers are now trying to back up again. All right, more damage, more shooting up onto the high side here. The Destroyer able to devour magic, eat up that very, very delicious magic wolf there, as they're going to be forced to try and retreat back. 51 supply compared to 37 units retreating back now. Shadow Hunter, Farseer, very close to level 4. Meanwhile, Death Knight also very close to level 4 with the Dark Ranger at 2 and a Lich at 1. So 3, 2, 1 going up against, well, what is soon to be dual level 4 heroes. If that Farseer does back away, I believe it's just going to be a little bit shy. Yes, 15 experience more needed. Now, the Farseer having plus 17 damage right now between the War Song battle drums, those claws of attack, and also that mantle of intelligence. Important thing to note, there is one Crypt Fiend currently getting digested, so supply is really closer to 43, or well, 3 less here compared to the 60 that we see from FoCuS. All right, Gargantuan Sea Turtle going to get cleaned up now. Raider trying to back away. We see well, these Enraged Elementals also here as well. The Kodo Beast going to get finished digested. Shadow Hunter now sitting at level 4. Level 2 Hex available as the Farseer going to get perhaps another useful item, a Health Stone. So a Health Stone now available. Couple of things to note. We do see Wind Riders out here, 570 hit point Wind Riders. They are 4 supply units that have relatively low hit points, and that is going to become a problem once the Lich gets up to level 3. Level 2 Death Coil, level 2 Frost Nova, and suddenly 570 hit points on a Wind Rider seems more like a liability than an asset, as they can get poked down extremely quickly. Ghoul Frenzy going to try to charge on in here. There's a Chain Lightning bouncing around straight off the board. I don't see any Obsidian statues here, and now we're going to perhaps try and see how this game is going to go long. Well, Grunt taking quite a bit of damage here. Wind Riders need to try and stay alive. There's a Death Coil finishing off one. Obsidian Statue going to bring up the rear here as we're looking at some more healing being brought in as well. Destroyer is going to be able to back away. Yes, able to back away down to 373 hit points after the Death Coil as the Wind Riders are just slowly getting poked down here. Kodo Beast now chomping on this go-wide army of ghouls and skeletal minions as we see level 3 now on that Lich. That is some big problems here. We're looking at some more Headhunters. Another Grunt trying to just stay alive, but he's absolutely surrounded and in trouble. Shadow Hunter continuing to put in pressure here. And there goes another Headhunter. So Headhunter after Headhunter is taken down. There goes a Destroyer. It's ensnared. And now as Destroyers fall, we're going to start to see Happy taking a little bit of damage as well. All right, another healing wave. There's a little bit more Devour Magic trying to get some more damage onto some of those units. Destroyer able to back away. Frost Nova taking down a Wind Rider. And this game is still going on strong. Level 5 on that Farseer means level 3 Wolves. Big damage there, but the Destroyer is able to devour so much magic. Up to, what, 370 mana still as the Kodo Beast have finished their light snacks in those ghouls and skeletal minions and waiting to see what else they can do. Wind Rider getting trained. Raider getting trained. Home field advantage for FoCuS, getting those reinforcements more quickly. Meanwhile, Happy still sitting on one base after all this time and just microing like a madman, being able to do, be effective even though he has less units. All right, the Shadow Wolves are going to do their scouting, making sure that the 6 o'clock and 3 o'clock positions are now empty. Meanwhile, the Shadow Hunter could get to level 5 here if it clears out this orange creep camp off to the north, I believe. Yeah, it needs to creep by itself. Level 3 healing wave would be a tremendous boost. What is the Farseer doing? Farseer needs to just stay back, let this Shadow Hunter do its thing. Wind Rider heading off to the north here. We see 0-1 upgrades. Kodo Beast not getting any additional upgrades here. Shadow Hunter sitting at 4.8. Should be able to, is it going to be just shy? It is again. 48 experience shy from level 5. All right. All of the creep camps on the map have been cleared out. We're looking at a 5 and nearly 5 going up against a 4-3-3. The Undead Heroes getting essentially more kills against the other opposing army. That additional gold actually translating into experience for the undead units. And, well, we've seen how powerful 3 undead heroes can be while backed up with an obsidian statue. Happy is going to take his time here for, and then, well, perhaps, yes, start absorbing mana, taking those destroyers to the skies. 1 destroyer currently has mana. There's 3 obsidian statues now down here. We're going to see another absorb mana, perhaps. There it is. And then that's also going to turn into a destroyer as well, most likely. All right, go Happy. All right, let's see how this is all going to unfold here. Units trying to retreat back. Destroyer still leading the charge. There is no reinforced defenses. This could be a problem. No reinforced defenses mean that the Orc burrows are going to fall very quickly to the destroyers, especially if they have mana. as that will be doing bonus damage as well. Those burrows are not going to be safe places to hide. There's level 4 now on the Dark Ranger, and here we go. They're going to try to just jump inside here. No, not even jump inside. Wind Rider's going straight after some units, and we see level 5 now on the Shadow Hunter. Shadow Hunter, level hasn't trained that level 5 ability yet. Wind Rider's trying to back away. Remember, Wind Riders do not have that great of a range, only at 450. That's the reason why it feels like those destroyers get to be so close. Kodo Beasts are doing a bit of piercing damage against these other destroyers, but they do not have upgraded damage. All right, 33 supply compared to 54. What is going down here? Well, that Wind Rider looks like it's about to get taken down. There's some more Devour magic. Another destroyer heads up to the sky as the the Lich gets cleaned up. No more Lich means no more Frost Nova. No more Frost Nova means a very, very large setback here as these skeletal minions could get cleaned up. Are we going to see a level up here on the Shadow Hunter or the Farseer? It does not. I do not believe so. Both sides are still fighting. Kodo Beast just eating up some ghouls and some skeletal minions, and that is it. Death Knight does not look like he has enough right now to fight. He doesn't have obsidian statues. He doesn't have that Lich. Lich is most likely getting resurrected. No, Lich is not getting resurrected yet. Perhaps needs to get trained back up at the tavern, but without an obsidian statue, well, no obsidian statue means that Lich is not going to have a lot of mana either. All right. As I say that, an obsidian statue joins the undead army, of course. Main gold mines having about 3.5 minutes of mining left, and that is it. All right, Wind Riders 1-1 upgraded. We do not have Fortress. We are only at Stronghold, so no Envenom Spears. Kodo Beast bringing up the rear, and well, I guess that is one way to deal with deal with the high static damage of spells such as Death Coil and Frost Nova. Just have higher hit point units such as these Kodo Beasts. Kodo Beasts don't have great range though, and we're still waiting to see how all of this unfolds as the Shade does spot all of this out. Farseer, will the Farseer go for Earthquake? That is probably not going to be the case here. I would assume level 3 Chain Lightning over Earthquake, as the Dark Ranger does have Silence, and we're not really in a base race scenario. The Farseer just wants to kind of hold off his opponent, as he knows his opponent doesn't have any additional economy. All right, where is the... there is no Altar of Darkness. So hence no resurrection here, as the Lich does get resurrected at the tavern and makes its way back over. One thing to note, the Lich did have a Scroll of Town Portal, but was hexed and could not use it. Gonna quickly sell some items, as Happy perhaps gonna try to do one last stand here. Not unsummoning any buildings though. I often see undead players such as Happy try to unsummon buildings if he's trying to hold off and win outright with an army. Off to the north here, FoCuS is trying to set up a second expansion, trying to keep that 2 base advantage over his opponent, as the Death Knight and Dark Ranger and Lich now getting ready and into position here. Great awareness by FoCuS to know where exactly Happy is at this point in stage in the game. Are we going to perhaps see some Frost Novas? What's going to go down? There's Frost Novas against all of those Bat Riders. Bat Riders healing wave trying to bounce around. This Troll Bat Rider is actually moving much more slowly. Chain Lightning bouncing, going to hit a little bit of those low hit point targets. As the Kodo Beast, are they going to finish off some of those units? There's a low hit point ghoul there. More Frost Nova going down across those Troll Bat Riders. Troll Bat Riders are just getting cleaned up absolutely easily. 51 supply compared to 75. There is still that Shade there. The Lich, getting stuck in the mud, so to speak, as the Troll Bat Riders should still be going after these additional targets. Lich could be in trouble. There's a Chain Lightning. There goes the Lich now. Farseer gets up to level 6, and that is gonna be the game between FoCuS and Happy. A drawn-out game right there, but FoCuS with that resource advantage, able to go into low upkeep, have a larger army, and just build more units consistently, comes away with the win. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.